Welcome back, warrior. We are reading Exodus chapter 10. Okay, we're in the plagues. I can't remember all the numbers of all of them. But you'd think that I would be able to remember because we just read them. Okay, so anyway, goes to show you that you need to practice those, like saying them every time. I'll have to list them out later and try and memorize them. Okay, and the Lord said unto Moses, oh wait, sorry, hold on, we need the preface or the chapter heading summary thing. Okay, so chapter 10, the Lord sends a plague of locusts. This is followed by thick darkness in all Egypt for 3 days. Moses is cast out from the presence of Pharaoh. Okay, so 3 days. Okay, and the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart. Not that he actually did harden it, like not that the Lord did, but that Pharaoh did. And the heart of his servants, that I might show these my signs before him. And that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and of thy son's son what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that they may know how that I am the Lord. And Moses and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast. You do not want those. And they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth, and they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped, which remaineth unto you from hail, and shall eat every tree which groweth for you out of the field. And they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of thy servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. It's like some people just don't learn. That's like how we are, right? Some people just don't learn. And Pharaoh's servant said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? Okay, so Pharaoh's servants are now coming to him like, listen, we should just do whatever he wants, because can't you tell Egypt is being destroyed because of this? Okay, so the plague of locusts. Finally, Pharaoh's servants told Pharaoh to let the Israelites go before all of the Egypt was destroyed. The magicians who had been working to imitate the signs were the first to recognize that this is the finger of God, remember? Then some of the Egyptians believed that the Lord would bring hail, so they feared the word of the Lord and made their servants and their cattle flee into the houses. So like everybody was just coming inside the house. Now, finally, some of the servants, likely officers of the court, were becoming convinced and advised Pharaoh to let the Israelites leave before Egypt was destroyed. So there had been plagues before that had been far less severe, but had shown that the Lord was capable of calling forth his creations to bring to pass his purposes. Ooh, I kind of like that. Like that the Lord can bring forth his creations to bring to pass his purposes, calling forth his creations to bring to pass his purposes. We just barely watched the movie called Hoppers, and that was so cool. It was such a cute movie. I highly recommend it for adults and children alike. So anyway, and it kind of reminds me of that, where like calling forth of his creations. Anyways, it's kind of super cool that way. But I don't want to share spoilers because it just came out. Anyway, go watch it. Hoppers, okay? And Moses was again told to go into the Pharaoh and announce the next plague that would come if Pharaoh continued to refuse to let the Israelites leave. This plague of locusts covering the face of the land, with such thickness that they would not be able to see the earth, is so gross, right? Not only would the locusts be bothersome, but they would eat the plants that had been destroyed. by the hail. So like if you thought some of your plants made it, think again. You will not be eating your plants because the locusts will. Okay, hello. Okay, we're on verse 9. I'm just kidding, verse 8. And Moses and Aaron were brought again unto Pharaoh. And he said unto them, Go, serve the Lord your God. But who are they that shall go? Like everybody, remember? Are we not paying attention to the conversation? Okay, we're trying to get our chest to open up. I like to sleep on my side. And so it crushes the chest area. Okay, verse 9. And Moses said, We will go with our young and with our old and our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds. Will we go, for we must hold a feast unto the Lord. And he said unto them, Let the Lord be so with you, as I will let you go. And your little ones, look to it, for evil is before you. Not so. Go now, ye that are men, and serve the Lord. I have popcorn. For that ye did desire, and they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail hath left. So Pharaoh was like, no, you can't. Go now that, not so. Go now that ye that are men, and serve the Lord, for that ye did desire, and they were driven out of Pharaoh's presence. So like he was like just to send the men or something, right? Anyway, so then that's why the locusts are still coming. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought on an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herbs of the field through all the land of Egypt. I don't know if I'm just getting tired or I'm just getting tired of them not listening. Probably both. Woo! So Moses and Aaron had already warned Pharaoh about the coming locusts and were summoned back after Pharaoh's officials urged him to reconsider. Willing to compromise, Pharaoh asked who would go serve the Lord. Moses firmly replied that everybody was coming. And as the Lord's spokesman, Moses refused to compromise on God's clear command. Pharaoh then proposed his own terms. Only the adult men could go, while the women and children remained behind. It's because he probably wanted to make sure that they would come back, right? But anyway, despite the signs and judgments already upon Egypt and Goshen being spared, Pharaoh continued to resist the Lord and cling to his authority. Moses rejected this offer, having always demanded the release of all Israel, and as a result, another plague came. So, that is crazy. Egypt was helpless, watching its fields destroyed, while Pharaoh refused to obey the one command could have spared them. In desperation, Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron, confessed his sin, and pleaded for the Lord to remove the deadly plague. Of course. It's just like a pattern, you know? It's just like this pattern. Okay, verse 16. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste. And he said, yeah, could you imagine? Yo, you guys got to come over here. Hurry. They did not have cell phones. So in haste was still not fast enough, right? And he said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now therefore, forgive, I pray thee, my sin, only this once. And entreat me the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts. and cast them into the Red Sea, and there remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. No, Pharaoh hardened his own heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. Still, he didn't. This is crazy. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Ooh, and have you been during the eclipse? And remember when the moon went in front of the sun, it felt cold and dark, right? And this is like totally what it reminds me of. Obviously to a whole nother level, but this is kind of what it reminds me of. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye, serve the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. And Moses said, thou must give us also our sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Lord our God. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not a hoof be left behind. For thereof must we take to serve the Lord of our God, and we know not with what we must serve the Lord until we come thither. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said unto him, get thee from me, take heed to thyself. See my face no more, for in that day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. Ooh. So the Lord is waiting on Pharaoh to see what decision he makes, right? And Pharaoh is hardening his heart yet again, because he's saying like, yeah, you can totally, everybody should just go. But then, of course, the cattle and stuff they have to bring with them so they can make sacrifices, but they don't know what they need to sacrifice. So they're like, we need to bring all the things. And he's like, why do you need to bring all the things? I wonder how this story would have been different if they would have just been allowed to go and worship the one time, you know? So I don't know. Verse 29, and Moses said, thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face again no more. Okay, so Pharaoh was just like upset. Like, this is not cool. Why are you doing this? Like, how come we can't negotiate, right? Well, you can't negotiate. You cannot negotiate with the Lord, and we know this. And sadly, this is what Pharaoh is learning. There's a quote from Orson Pratt. And he said that he compared the darkness to the darkness that the Nephites experienced. He says, I might go on reading, if it were necessary, in regard to the weeping, wailing, and mourning of the people during these 3 days of intense darkness. No sun, moon, nor stars were to be seen, and the vapor was so great that the inhabitants of the land could feel it, the same as the darkness was felt in the land of Egypt. It was not, of course, the darkness that was felt, but the vapor that was so thick. End quote. Orson Pratt, Journal of Discourses, 15. So then Pharaoh decided to told them to get out. The people could leave, but they must leave their flocks and herds behind. That was his new condition. But Moses refused that one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart again and told Moses to get out, and that he never wanted to see Moses again. It was now time for the 10th plague. So there's 10 plagues. That was the 9th plague. Was the darkness. And this 9th plague came without warning, as the Lord told Moses to stretch out his hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness in the land. Right? Because Pharaoh would not keep his promises and would change. Right? Anyway, and it's sad. It's sad. Okay, so the read it, live it for Exodus chapter 10 is this. It says, that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son what things I have wrought in Egypt. Okay, so the miracles weren't just for that generation. They were meant to be remembered and retold which is why they're in the scriptures, right? That more might believe in what he can do. So tell the story. Tell the story. Okay, the 10th plague. Not going to be fun reading tomorrow, that's for sure. But it happens, and that's what we got to do, you know. Okay, until Exodus chapter 11. Stay strong, warrior.